The first thing to do is determine your personal year number. If you haven't already, watch the video that I posted about how to calculate your personal year number, and then you can choose which number to watch from these videos. My good friend, you have reached the nines. The 9 is a number of completion. If your year number is 9, you have culminated. You have reached the ultimate manifestation of what you have been trying to achieve in the physical world. And that is what you are doing this year, is finishing up, is completing, is actually getting to the end of your goal, of creating the life that you want, that matches your outsides, match your insides. The world you've created around you, it's in balance with who you actually are. This is a really great place to be. And if you don't feel like you're quite at this place in your life right now, that is what this year is going to be becoming about. So your challenge will be to work on completing the things that need to be completed, both within yourself and the physical world. Probably because it's a 9, mostly within the spiritual side of your nature, because you already completed what you needed to at the 4 in the physical balance of your life, and then again at the 6 you had some success with it. But now then you were forced to make a deep dive within yourself and really figure out who you are and who you want to be in this world, and then matching that with what you're actually doing in this world. So that's what if your number is 9, that's what your mission is to achieve this level of balance and completion of the evolution of self, both in the material and in the spiritual realm, or the spiritual aspect of your life. And because the universal number for this year is the 4, which is stability, you are supported in that, because the atmosphere is not one that's going to bring you a lot of chaos. It's a year that is the energies are supportive of achievement and creating something that's strong and that works. Now, you can kind of ignore these cards for a minute, because we're going to talk about that in a second. What I want to talk to you about is the number 9 for a minute. I know we're doing geometry, sacred geometry, but so we'll talk about this number 9 and how it shows up, and how it always has been a number that is associated with completion, with the ending, with the horizon, with the most. Okay, and then after 9, then you jump up into it's like a more cosmic elements of existence. Like we'll talk about, that's what these cards are about. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 9 right now. You've heard of the cat having 9 lives. That's because a cat can die 9 times until his luck runs out, right? That's his completion. 9 is the most. You're going to run the whole 9 yards. You're on cloud 9. That's the highest joy you can attain. You're dressed to the 9s. That means you're dressed to the max, dressed to the most. You look your best. A stitch in time saves 9. You've heard that expression. That means that if you correct a mistake, small mistakes early on, you'll save yourself from having to do the whole thing over 9 stitches from now, because 9 is universally considered the number of completion. And this is something great. So people talk about, it was wonderful to the nth degree, right? That's an expression, something to the nth degree. 9th degree, that's what the nth degree is, in case you were wondering. I think that's it's one of those things that people would say, like, what is nth degree? Anyway, it's the 9th degree, the most degree. It was whatever it is to the nth degree, to the most degree, the 9th degree. It's an ending. Just a little bit more how it shows up in religion. Abraham was 99 when the Lord spoke to him. In Islam, there's 99 beautiful names of God, and the 100th name of God cannot be spoken. And so, as I was saying, 9 is that completion of the mundane world, of the world we live in, of the experience that we're having in this life. Between that and the transcendental, the infinite, powers beyond our control, that we also experience in life when we are guided by higher spiritual forces. So you see at the 9 we've completed. What I have here is numbers 10 through 21 and 0 of the major arcana in the tarot. And so at 9 we had completion. And I'll show you the completion cards in the tarot. You've got the Hermit, he's major arcana, but you see he's alone. All these cards of completion, all the 9s, you've got a person alone. You see? One person having a completion of an experience. So the Hermit is taking a deep dive and looking for answers within himself. He has become a complete person in himself, and he looks to himself and his own inner guidance for knowledge. The Knight of Wands is the completion of a battle, or I'd say in this context it's a battle, and he's war weary, and he's holding on to the end. That's what this person does. This person holds on to the end, and he's got all of his wands, and he's still passionate about his cause. He has made it all the way to the end of this 9 of Wands. Now the 10 of Wands is the card after that, and you should see a guy carrying all his wands on his back. He's bearing the burden of the completion, but this is the end of the battle, and he's going to get up, and he's going to put those wands on his back and finish the journey. The 9 of Cups, he's reached maximum fulfillment emotionally, and he's got some to share, and he's a gregarious innkeeper with cups to go around. Or you can read it as he has one cup that he loves, and he's still going to try all the rest of them. He's got everything. He has completed his satisfaction. Oh, not this one. At the 9 of Swords, the most stressed you can be, just overwhelmed by your thoughts. There's no more level of stress than this. This is keeping you up nights. And the next card after that is 10 of Swords, which means it's over. I mean, this is the most worry you can get before it's just over, and you get to start over again. You get to start fresh. So the 10 is really a rebirth. Even though the death card at the 10 looks like a death, what it is a rebirth, because this is over. This is the most stress you can take. And I love this one. I think the 9 of Pentacles really, the more of any of these other cards, shows the completion, the satisfaction, the having of it all, absolute maximum abundance in all things that you can see, smell, taste, touch, hear, feel, all those things. So the 9s is a completion. But after the completion, which is what you are working to attain this year, you will be you have to complete it. You don't have to complete it, but your challenge is to complete it, because after that, then you're dealing with the transcendental. You're dealing with the Wheel of Fortunes. Okay, now look at the tone of the cards that are after the 9. You've got fortune, destiny, the concept of justice being meted out upon you, and you having to look at yourself in the grand perspective of things. You have to face the concept of death. What is that? Does it mean an ending? Does it mean a rebirth? It's tempering your spirit. It's pouring from the cup of fire to the cup of water, and vice versa. It's the alchemy of gold and silver. It's the yin and the yang. Temperance is the balancing of ethereal energies, and we apply it to ourselves in the tarot and to our living as a human. But the concept of temperance is a transcendental idea that is experienced by all of the universe. The devil is, of course, you can have it as in religion, but you can have it as symbolizing temptations, as symbolizing the darker nature, the darker side, the things that hidden. How do you describe a concept like devil? It's the underbelly. It's the side of you don't want to look at. Addictions, attachments. There you go. Attachments to earthly things. That's a very transcendental concept of being attached to the earthly when your nature is spiritual. You see that's kind of in the transcendental definition of the devil, and these are things you deal with after the 9. You become so mature spiritually that you are able to progress through these phases of evolution. The Tower, you're able to withstand sudden forces outside yourself, universal forces outside affecting the material. The Star, I mean, these get more and more esoteric the further the further we go up in, up in the numbers, right? I mean, the Star is at the number 17, and the Star is it's a celestial object. These 3 are celestial objects: star, moon, sun, celestial objects, esoteric in nature and transcendental in the description. The star is a symbol of hope, but why is the star a symbol of hope? It's something that's in the sky that we can't ever touch. How do we even know it really exists other than we can see it? And what does it mean? And it's always there, and it guides us, and we can navigate by it. And there's always something to reach for with the star that's always there. The moon is things that you can't see. It's things that you can't know. It's the unknowable. It's kind of there, but and it appears to be lit, but it isn't lit by its own light. It seems to glow from within, but using the light from another object, it's there and it's not there. Its light exists and it doesn't exist. It's the hidden realm. It's sort of this, I guess you could say intuition, but it's so much beyond intuition. It's this kind of a questioning of what actually is. The sun is just the ultimate source of all life as we know it, and it's the heat, and it makes possible for everything that we know that exists to exist. I mean, when you think about it beyond just being our heat that grows our crops, and you just think about it as a thing that can make life as we know it exist, the concept of that is just mind-boggling. And then we've got the concept of judgment, which is, do you have your affairs in order? According to who? What does that mean? What does it mean to live an existence that is worthy of, the cosmic forces finding you to be just, finding your motives to be just? What is justice? Not justice, judgment. Judgment is what is judged to be ultimately in harmony with all of creation. And the world is that all of creation. What is all of creation? These concepts, these transcendental concepts, ending with the world, and then can also be considered to be ending with the Fool, because the Fool is a 0. The 0 is it's a nadir. It's not a 1. It's not a 22. It's a nothing. It can be the end. It can be the beginning. So the Fool, by different people, is placed. It's placed either at the beginning or at the end, because the Fool is a rebirth. It's a new birth. So does the new birth come as a child of the ultimate, or does the birth come at the beginning before all, and spark the movement of all life as we know it? You see the words I'm using to describe what happens after completion is this whole other realm of the esoteric, of the transcendental. You are completing all that can be completed in the mundane world. This year, you master your worldly self and can aspire to progressing yourself in your evolution through these other concepts in years to come, or enveloping them into the next phase. This is the next phase of your evolution after you complete the 9. Now, I'll show you something really wonderful, because this is about geometry, not just about tarot and numerology. So we got 9 dots, because 9 is completion. The initiate has to work his way through this labyrinth after attaining a certain level of spiritual training and enlightenment. The labyrinth is a path that can be navigated once you know the way. Okay, so that's what this is. It's kind of a rebirth symbol. Am I getting this? I gotta get this right now. And I'm not going to talk while I draw this, because apparently that makes me mess up. So Okay, so you've seen this before. I'm sorry I drew it so big. It makes it a little bit unrecognizable, but okay, there it is. And now, this is a worldwide concept of an initiate following through the labyrinth. There is a way that you pass through this whole labyrinth, and one thing to note is that each of these represents a note in a musical note. Okay, so as an initiate is following the trail of the labyrinth, imagine hitting a different note each time you pass one. I am not a professional musician, so I'm going to just kind of simulate this as we go through the labyrinth, and you can take it for what it is. All right, here we go. No, what did I get wrong already? Did I get that wrong? Okay, let's just go with it. No. Okay, so sorry, I started at the wrong place. Let's pretend that this little guy didn't go this way because I'm not an initiate. Okay, but we're going to pretend my little red pen here is an initiate. Okay, so here we go. Ready? No, start lower for me. Okay. Now, I obviously did something wrong. I should have started back here like this. That's where I should have started. Yep. So, anyway, I did the whole path except that I started a little too late. It was over here. Anyway, you saw that we got all the way out into the world, initiated, because we have attained the completion. Oh my. This is crazy. Did I know what happened here? Did I do this one? I wonder. Maybe we're supposed to start here. Yeah, that's it. We're supposed to start right here at the cross. Duh. Okay, yeah, duh. Sorry, now I'm just playing. This is for my benefit. Oh no, where'd it go? Where'd it go? We initiated. All right, thank you for indulging me in that. Yes, I know, highly entertaining. Okay, well, anyway, if you're in a 9 year, you are at a really beautiful place in life, because in this year you are becoming initiated as a person who can transcend, and you have the support of the universal number 4 around you that is like a warm blanket, making it even more comfy and stable for you to do this complicated act of becoming a whole person. So good on you, mate. So my friend, I just wanted to thank you for watching and show you some of this art that I've been making, because it is so it is sacred geometry, this art that I make. I started making this kind of art partly because of my passion for sacred geometry, because it's this style of art where it's basically mandala making, which is a geometric practice. You start with the eye of God at the center, and you build. This is beeswax and pine pitch pressed into, and then you take tiny glass beads and press it into the beeswax pine pitch mixture. This is on a capiz shell, and this is a necklace or just a kind of a mandala ornament, and it's using the geometry of moving out from the 1 to the 6, and spreading from there. It exponentially grows, and the pattern becomes more complex the further out you go from the middle, just like how we did in our geometry today. where, you know, the one is a relatively simple concept. These are earrings. And the further away from one you get, the more complex the geometry is. See? And then you get into big items like this. Like you could just look at this. Oh, here's me in the mirror. You could just look at the center of one of these, and it's a reasonably simple image. But when you start to grow, when you take that as the center and you start to grow the pattern out, you see how it just becomes more and more. Take the center of one of these motifs, for example, and the further away you get from the center, the more complex it is. And that's how we are as people, right? The more interesting we are, the more we evolve as humans from just, you know, eaters into thinking and spiritual beings, the more complex the pattern is out from the center. And this one is actually already sold, but I'm going to be making much more of these. And all these things are in my Etsy shop and more. And I have sold a lot over Christmas time, so the store is a little bit skimpy right now, but you can get to it through angelinetarot.com or through just directly to Etsy, etsy.com/shop/eyeofgodart. So thank you for watching that little commercial. I hope you enjoyed my little numerology for you for the coming year through the sacred geometry. Yes, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful 2020. Why am I trying to just show everything? I don't know. I'm a cornball. Yep. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful 2020. Happy New Year.